Thank you. Hello, I'm Perigon. Got Viewfinder here. Going to do an 80% run. It's a pretty weird puzzle game, so I will just get started, and then you can just see how it works as I go. So the time will start in 3, 2, 1 now. Let's start game. So right at the beginning, immediately just going to take a quick shortcut with that chair over this wall and just go straight to the final photo.
Explore.
So the main gimmick of this game is that you can take photos and place them down as part of the geometry.
Did you just shift?
There's not really much of a better way I can explain it. You kind of just have to see for yourself. It's like that. Eventually we do get a camera that we can take the photos with, but for the moment, just to introduce you to the topic, it is just photos given to you. And it's just, yeah, a bunch of puzzles. They all sort of have some platform like this. You have to place like batteries on. And this final teleporter or terminal, whatever you want to call it. And there's about 5 levels, I think.
Feels different
5,
than
yeah.
what we've seen.
And however many of these spread out between them. You can rotate. There's a lot you can do with the photos. As you see, rotate them like that. They do override anything that's behind them. As you can see, there's a lot of missing geometry there. And that doesn't really matter unless you get rid of the terminal. And then, most of the terminal. It's kind of lenient with how you're allowed to get rid of it. But as long as like the top of it with all like the screens is not taken, you'll be fine. And we take advantage of that most of the time. This first level is pretty simple. We're going to do a bit of an odd looking solution to this by just going into the floor over and over again to trigger a scripted game crash. That isn't actually a crash, it's more of a crash of the simulation we're in that will open up momentarily. There we go. Fortunate cutscene that we can't really skip, but you know. And as you can see, it's just a big simulation, nothing real. The Earth is dying, so prefer staying there. Have to play Osu, restart the system. If I can hit the buttons correctly, there we go. I don't play Osu, unfortunately, so kind of washed at that portion. But we'll just go straight back into the teleporter, ignore what she's saying, and head back to the level we were just in. Should start from the same level. Yes. Wait for a moment for the portal to come back. Doesn't matter where we're facing, it'll always just be in front of us, so which is nice because there's no real point of reference to rotate to. But yeah, back to where we were before, and we will, you know, actually solve the puzzle this time. This one and the next one's pretty long, so if you have like a donation or two, then you'll throw them out now.
Yeah, we do have a $5 from a flattened, big-headed Spyro. Had to pop back in to cheer Perigon on, and putting that money towards Runner's Choice. Just a quick little update on the incentives. We do have the Street Fighter 6 Upgrade to All Masters incentive that will be cut off at the start of the next run. So if you do want to see that incentive being met, there is still a $476 left for that incentive. Be sure to include it in your donation message if you would like to put your money towards that, and I'll speak to you after the run for your runner choice.
Cool. Now that's a mechanic I probably should have mentioned earlier. You can rewind time in this game with just pressing R. Very useful because there are a lot of awkward jumps and geometry that can just fling you off. There is actually a glitch that will be done quite late in the run that probably takes advantage of that, but it is just, you know, useful even if it's not a glitch. Because unfortunately you can't rewind in this little hub area. It would have been very useful there, because now I have to kind of walk up and around, but it's not that much time loss. Getting into the final levels of the first world, and we get introduced to the photocopier, which, you know, just lets you copy the photos. I don't think anything changes with them other than the fact that they look a little odd from being photocopied, but that just means that right now I can fill the 2 battery requirement of that. I don't know what you call it. I guess like pad, I'll call it. Battery pad. But there we go. Just gonna place the end right beside where we can jump off down to it. One thing that I also didn't mention is a lot of the times I place the terminal at like an angle, or photos with the terminal at an angle, just because falling is faster than moving and just gets to the end faster. Now we're going to get into the first major glitch that's used in the run, which are tram skips, which this little tram takes you between each of the worlds. And there's a pretty decently long cutscene between them. That way, if we just jump out of the tram, we can skip. It does get a bit flashy once I clip out, so just quick warning for that. But I want to do a quick setup. Hopefully this will work. Hold on, I'll do one more shot. Nah, okay, I missed the first one. They are quite finicky, so this one won't be flashy. Because I can just re-enter and it does similar stuff. I end up in a different position that's less advantageous, but I skip a long cutscene where it leaves the tunnel and goes down that big line, as you can see behind the portal. Now, this world introduces almost pre-placed images of sorts, like that you just have to line up perfectly and they will place themselves. Not as useful, as they obviously are like considerably more restrictive than any photo I can place. But, you know, there is a weird glitch that I can't really do or take advantage of in many places with these. Specifically ones that will be introduced earlier, where you have to sort of... It's enabling, like, the RGB channels of the photo in a way. Again, you will see later. Just have to strategically place that photo to not only remove the fence, but also a wall that will get in the way of that photo right there. Even just the slightest bit of the wall will just mean you won't be able to do it, because it is a very precise position that it sort of auto-adjusts you into. Here's what I was talking about, the RGB channels. Right now we do it with levers, and I think in most places it is also done with levers. But without all three of those channels enabled, it won't be the proper image and it won't let you through unless you stand in like an incredibly precise position, and it will just enable it for you. Not sure why, but I didn't make the game, so I don't know how I would know. Here, no photo shenanigans, just a very annoying jump like that. Just straight up to the final camera to the end. Another mechanic, a camera that takes photos for you. Similarly restrictive to the ones where you have to line yourself up, is you can't move. Thank you. No. Cannot move. I want that photo. Okay, I don't get that photo. Oh no, it is that photo. Whoops. It just looked a bit odd. But you can't move these cameras. You can only just like choose when it takes the photo. Juggling the photo because I accidentally pressed it a bit too many times. But again, it's usually in a position that's pretty easy. Like this, we're going to take a photo there, remove the gate to that photo, and put it in a specific position over here where it'll just, again, take the photo of the end, rotate the photo, and jump down to there. Now, is that the second one? Yes, that is the second one. So going to the third terminal. This actually introduces not necessarily a mechanic, but just a useful piece of tech that sucks. Item juggling. Picking up items in this game, just in general, is quite finicky. You have a very small grab radius, and you drop stuff very easily. And another thing you can do with them is juggle them by, hopefully, throwing them with one another. As you can see, they get absolutely launched, and I have no skill in controlling it. But that worked out significantly better than it usually does, which is very nice. That jump, a lot harder than it looks. Maybe not a lot harder than it looks, but it's a bit low. You can't jump at it directly. It only works if you do it at an angle. Annoying, but so be it. I got it first try, so I will not complain. But as you can see, even if they haven't taken photos of them, it still will work as long as you have these sort of wires all leading up to it stay the same. So once again, we'll jump off the map just to be teleported straight to where the tram is. Hopefully, yep. And attempt the second tram skip. This one, the setup is similarly annoying for me. I mean, the first one's pretty nice, but this one... I get a lot less regularly, but I got it that time. So that's a tram skip. Once again, a bit of flashing will come up in a moment. So if you want to look away, you can. There's no place I can really look that'll avoid that. But as you can see, the tram is still... Well, you can't because there's a wall in the way. My bad. The tram is basically coming in there around the corner. It skips it coming in and the long time it takes to open. And just kind of looks cool. So... We'll take it. They are, as I said, quite finicky and not even done on the 5th one because it's a bit slow. But, you know, I'll take advantage of it where I can. Now, this level is right at the end. We get introduced to the camera, which it means I can now take the photos for myself, which means we get to ruin the puzzles a lot more than they already have been. Around here, pick up a pamphlet that has... Well, not pamphlet yet. Now we take a picture of the pamphlet with the camera in it. I'm going to immediately rewind, because without rewinding there is a short little cutscene of sorts that doesn't let you pick up, take any photos with the camera. And now we are going to instantly take advantage of having the camera by taking a photo of a wall very up close. And that wall doesn't matter, we can just fall right through it. Straight to the end, thankfully. I guess, fun fact, there was a demo of this game released that had the start of the game and then skipped to this portion of the game. That trick has been there like the entire time I've known it, so... and I have played this game since the demo was released. Am I going to be able to get up there, please? And thank you. Otherwise, I'll just take the stairs. There we go. I must have been a very slightly too steep angle. As you can see, the only part the teleporter needs is that top part. If I had placed it any higher or steeper, it would have told me that the teleporter was destroyed and... Oh, teleporter, I guess that's a better name for it. And obviously I wouldn't have been able to end the level. It's also quite picky about the angle you have, specifically with photos that have the teleporter in it. Thank you. It can be finicky with the angle you place it at. It's hard to judge. I think it's close to like a 45-degree angle down, but sometimes it seems like some don't want to do, or don't want to be placed at certain angles. Now this photo looks like it's just a little path out, which it is, but it also removes a wall that's supposed to be there, and that just makes a very quick place to that piece of film. Which, by the way, another mechanic that I just completely forget, because the speedrun route doesn't get concerned by it. The camera only has a certain amount of film, which is in a little... that 0 down bottom right corner, or top right corner of the camera. There you go, another little juggle. That one's a lot easier for me. I don't know why the first one up the stairs sucks. But, yeah, as I said, the routing, it's never an issue for me, because I know the route that just has enough film. But that is... if you are to play this casually, something you do need to take into account. It'll tell you, but prefacing. Which, by the way, I do recommend playing the game. I think it's a pretty interesting puzzle game. Some are particularly hard. I could, just be dumb, but they aren't terribly hard most of the time. And clearly, I am not going to be revealing many of the solutions because they're all kind of silly looking. Now, is this the introduction of levers? Oh no, they were there before. I didn't mention them, but they're levers. They're pretty self-explanatory. Again, any shout-outs of any kind, go ahead, because it's just more taking photos and falling to the end for a bit.
No worries. We do have $2 from Neo_ that reads, please put this towards naming the Plate Up restaurant Bank Street Social, which I'm sure will get lots of love. Just as a reminder, in addition to donating, the Twitch revenue that we've received throughout the event will also be given straight to Game On Cancer, which includes bits and subscriptions to the AusSpeedruns channel, as another fantastic way to support Game On Cancer. Thank you.
Nice. Here, oh, that's what's introduced this time. There are now those things with little yellow circles in them. They basically let you break the cord for a short amount of time. Because as I mentioned before, if the cord is broken, that cord or pipe or whatever is broken in your image and you try and place it, it will not work. So those timers give you a little bit of leniency on how long you can have it disconnected. Along with those pads, you just kind of have to stand on them and they will trigger something. Final level of this, I think second to last terminal of levels. Very simple solution, probably the intended solution. Is this? I need to remember. I get quite mixed up on which one's which. Yes, this one is pretty much purely perspective-based puzzles. I'm not gonna show them off too well, but as you can see, that's a fake wall. Head up these stairs, just kidding, jump down them. And there's just gonna be a bunch of fake walls. Trying to get a boost off this pipe if I can. Unfortunate. As you see, there's a fence there. There was a fence there. Pre-memorized puzzle here. It isn't randomized, so just start. Very simple pattern around the poles. And suddenly there is floor. Straight to the end, which is quite nice. Here, a glitch I'm not going to do, but looks kind of silly. That battery, that wall will form and not let you grab the battery. But if you rewind in a certain way, I'm pretty sure it's frame perfect, if not very close to frame perfect, you're just allowed to pick up that battery. But it... Hold on. Am I able to... Oh, I'm not even able to grab that. That's kind of rude. There we go. Is that any better? Yeah, okay. Usually that just falls off nicely. I'm not sure what got it caught there. But yeah, you could just grab the battery. It very quickly loses time to just doing the puzzle that way, so I don't go for it. But it looks kind of silly. Final transcript that I'm going to be attempting. Not as much of a setup. I'm just gonna try and pray. Okay, I don't think... Oh, I think... Ah, okay, yeah. I thought that might have been a bit late, but thankfully it wasn't. Very close to resorting to just exiting level, but I'm glad we only had to do that once now, I think. But here, introduced to... Oh, actually, glitch time, instant jumping. I'm giving myself short visual cues here because I have a bind to rewind and sit. Which when I get out of this chair, I get a second jump and I can just climb up platforms. I completely forgot to explain that in advance. I'm sorry, but that's the only time it's used, so it's not... Technically, there is a second time it's used, but I have not come close to hitting it. This launch, I hate it. I am going to pray that the setup is not hardware consistent. I think I've kind of figured it out recently, but we're going to try and launch off this mug. That's too far. In a certain way up to that platform. Like that second try, a lot faster than I ever do it. That has killed and will kill runs without mercy. I used to not be able to hit it that fast, but second try is very nice for a marathon setting. That was pretty much the big potential for time loss. And now I can actually explain what I started explaining earlier. Things that are in this world that are like blue and grey, you can take photos of, but they won't appear. No, they won't get affected. Well, they won't appear and they won't be affected by photos being taken and placed. So as you can see, it looked like I just took a photo of that wall, but I actually took a photo of everything behind the wall and can just jump down to the end. And here, that cage, I can place a photo through. That blue battery isn't affected by the photo being placed, so it doesn't get removed. Pretty interesting mechanic that I think stumped me on a lot of the puzzles. But moving straight along into the radios or jukeboxes or whatever, and audio receptors. So there is a jukebox behind that wall that emits a radius of sound that... Hold on, I don't like this one. It does not like me. There we go. Emits a little radius of sound that those sound receptors pick up. Not much more than that. That radio was just hidden behind a wall and can be... The radius is very finicky. Specifically on that puzzle and this one. there are, as I said, there are two. I didn't say it. There are two sort of audio makers, I guess. Those also create sound that can be picked up by those. Just chain two of them by taking a photo. Here, take a photo with that whole floor pad. And because that's triggering, thank you very much. I think I might have taken a bad photo. Nope, there you go. It was just being rude. Thanks to that timer, we can just have some time to jump to the end. Very similar concept here. Take a photo of that timer, so we have it stored in a way, and just place it at the end. Hopefully that. Thank you. This photo is also another. It's not a glitch, but it is annoyingly finicky. If you have this first photo at a bad angle, that might be high. Because we have a very odd setup there. There we go. It did work. Where basically we were standing on a platform that triggered one of those sound emitters and also let us end the level. But if that's at a weird angle, either you can't hit the teleporter or the sound emitter won't trigger the receptacle. But thankfully, obviously got it first try. Very nice. New mechanic, portals, they're used like in this level, and that's pretty much it, unfortunately. You just kind of change your view of the world. As you can see, that portal is only, or you can only go through that if you're in the correct dimension. You get a bit more of a clear view on this one. As you can see, this floor is only collidable when you're in a normal dimension, but in this sort of sketched up looking one, it's no longer there. Here's where the second instant jump I mentioned earlier can be used to sort of jump around that wall without having to do this long route around to trigger. I'm actually not entirely sure what that triggers. I can look at it in a sec. It probably triggers the end, actually. But yeah, here you go. And now we're in a green dimension. This bridge is back for us to walk across, and still there for us to walk straight to the end. Into the second to last of this world. There is a pretty long cutscene after this level, so warning on that. Not yet. Have to do a setup with those portals, so I can just walk straight to the end. Again, I'm not entirely sure how that one works. It's just very smart chaining of those portals. There is a slightly faster route that I am not able to do, but here is the cutscene that I can't skip and takes a while. So once again, donations, reads, anything, you got quite a while.
No worries. We have $10 that says, "Good luck, Perigon, and thanks for showing off another mind-bending game. It's amazing to see you turn it upside down, even more so than it's meant to be. Put this towards delivering the love letter in Skyward Sword." We also have $25 from Dr. Popcorn that says, "Go Perigon. This game is hurting my brain."
Yeah, it's a pretty interesting game. I like these sort of puzzle games that have kind of hard to understand mechanics. But here, as I mentioned sort of in the beginning, this one we're not going to do one of the tram skips. As far as I'm aware, it puts you in a worse position than just like exiting the menu and re-entering does. So no cool looking tram skips, and unfortunately we are going to the final world. So that I think I hit the fourth one? I don't remember. The last one you saw would have been the last. We'll wait for a bit of a lag spike like that. Spam enter to hit all the buttons, and now go into the final level. And this, it's sort of supposed to be like a breakdown of sorts. As you can see, everything's sort of crumpled up. It starts to get a lot worse in the, that'll be good enough. In the other two levels. I'm gonna stand. Hello. Very slightly, that should be good enough. Very slightly off the edge, so I can take a photo of myself and put myself through that cage. The reason I had to like slightly, oh wait, hold on, that's not the strat. That's the strat. You can't stand like directly in front of the cap. Oh, I am blanking. You can't stand it directly in front of the camera or it won't take a photo of you. Maybe it does. The strat requires it, basically. And normally, just having the mouse at a slight angle helps, but, you know, slight time loss. Here, take 2 photos of myself to begin with. Actually, yeah, I'll rotate that. Oh, no, hold on. I'm not going to bother. Take that battery out. Obviously, you can see I don't actually get rotated. I'm pretty sure it just turns me around. World record does it. And finally, over this, as you can see, I took a photo of myself. That's not good. Can I get around that? Yeah. Took a photo of myself with the battery, so it's in my hand once I replace the photo. And just take it in now. For some reason, don't have the camera this level. So just do a... silly bit of parkour. Then immediately... Oh, do we have the camera back here? No, we don't. We do have a camera here. Once again, just going to take 2 photos of myself. One facing to the right. Yeah, that's the right. So when I place them to get off the platform in the sky, I'm facing the right way. And so it's straight to the end. Now here, as I said, is where sort of the breakdown sort of happens. You won't necessarily see it for the first one. You'll hear it. But our camera sort of, instead of just taking a photo, it just completely takes it out. And it's just a big black hole with with the geometry gone. Looks cool. Let's see, photo. Not much for this, which is very straightforward. A bit more advantage here. We take it through a wall and immediately photocopy it. Again, it's not really much of a hindrance because it's, you know, a speedrun, and it's all routed, so it's not an issue. Hopefully that falls on a bit faster, but got a bit caught up there. There we go. This platform is annoying, but it's fine. It's a final level. Heading into the quote-unquote final terminal. There is a long sort of speedrun-ish section after this, but still one more. Try and take a photo of this and have it take a photo for me. Thankfully it did. Whoops, there you go. If you destroy it, it does tell you, thankfully. Just me. Oop, don't know why that didn't trigger. We'll take a photo of a platform and have it, and try and get far away from the camera as possible. That's horrible. Thank you. So that when I trigger, because this one has a very short timer, when I stand on this to trigger it, I can just effectively throw myself directly to the end and beat out the timer. But we're going into the final level here. As I said, it's like a speedrun of sorts. It gives you a timer, but it's quite loose. But here we have almost photo juggling that happens. So you start the timer with that. Slight lag spike. Oh well. That's a bad. I'm gonna try and use that boot. There we go. Okay. I did not know if that boot was going to be collidable. Thankfully, it was. But as I said, we're just going to be going through a bunch of levels and have to hit a lever or meet some requirement at the end. We're gonna. Oh, that's not a good photo. Hold on. This one and a couple others in this section are kind of iffy that I'm not good at. But we take a photo of this radio for later. Switch back to the camera. Please let me take that. Thank you. I said photocopy the photo of that battery down there, because we can't take 2 photos, because that's the first time that it's pretty much a hindrance to us. You were triggering that. Don't lie. Here we're going to swap back to the photo we took at the very beginning, and also just take a photo of it again for the next level to give ourselves a platform for this. Oh, where? Yep, sure. So we can go straight through the wall and have a platform after, and hopefully not a big wall stopping us. And are we... Yep, I'm forgetting everything. Take a photo there, get over to this battery, and right at the beginning when we took that radio, trigger that, jump to the floor, and done. There's a long cutscene where he just kind of chats. So again, donations, reads, you got a bit.
No worries. We did receive a $2 from the Dog on the Internet. Please put this towards calling the Plate Up restaurant Hindley Street Macca's. So now we have a thrilling bid war between Bank Street Social and Hindley Street Macca's, both at $2 for that Plate Up run. If you want to put your money hat in the ring for either of those donation incentives, be sure to include that. Just as a reminder, at the end of this run, at the start of the next one, we have that Street Fighter 6 incentive. If you would like to upgrade to all masters, enrolling all the characters from the main roster, that does have $476 left, and that will be cut off at the start of the next run.
Cool. I've completely forgot to mention Kate, Cat, companion with us for a lot of the game. I forgot to mention him. We're already saying goodbye. Probably should have, but he doesn't really help, unfortunately. It's supposed to be sad, but you know, if you didn't know about him, not going to be too sad. And again, time coming up once the screen goes completely black. Right there. There's time. Yeah, that was Viewfinder 80%. Oh, a little bit over estimate, unfortunately. Yeah, pretty cool puzzle game. I recommend playing it. And that's all I have. So, yeah, thank you for having me here.
Alrighty, thank you, Perigon, for that run. Up next, we have Street Fighter 6 World Tour All Main Chapters by GL Phoenix. Coming up next, stick around. Alrighty, that does also end my time as your wonderful host. I will be passing the mic on to Sire for these next little bit here. Thank you so much, everyone.
Alright, host has been unmuted. Unfortunately, Shio couldn't make it to hosting once again, so Atomic Atoms Thomas is kind of forced to carry the stream a little bit. So next up we have Street Fighter 6 World Tour All Main Chapters by... enjoy the run, take it away, please.